How's it going, guys? Welcome back for another video. And today we are going to take a shot at installing this. This is my RX7 rear diffuser. I went to Home Depot, picked up a few odds and ends. I got some screws, some stainless steel screws. These are 1/4-inch screws, or bolts, I guess. I also got these little corner braces. These should work well. They're just little metal L brackets. So those should work well to hold it in place. Just some shorter bolts for tighter areas. I got this metal drill bit to drill some holes in some metal, because I think we're going to have to actually drill these holes out, because if you can see, it's not going to focus. So as you can see, the holes are actually pretty small. I don't think they're 1/4-inch. But we'll see. We're gonna do our best to install that. I think what we're gonna have to do is, I figured out mounting would probably be to this little piece right here. This is just like a steel, I guess. The issue I've run into is these little tabs right here. So they're just on this side. I don't know what they are. I think it's just like part of the cast or something. They're not on the other side. So it's gonna sit, I don't know, just a few millimeters lower, and I'll just try to match it on this side. I'm gonna measure from the center down so we know where to mark everything. And then to mount the rear, I think I'm gonna just self-tap into this heat shield here, which was for the old muffler. So today in the garage, it's a little bit cooler, which is nice. I've got the fans going, so I'm sorry if you hear the fans, but we had some crazy storms, and it's about 85. So it's probably close to like 95 degrees in here, which is still hot, but it's better than over 100. We're gonna get started, and I'm just gonna set you guys down, and then I'll kind of cover the process as I sit. But first things first, we need to do some measuring and some marking, and let's get started. Alright, so it might be a little tough to see, but you can see there's a mark there, there, and there. Basically, I split this up. It's 10-inch wide because the two bolts are 10 inches apart. So I just did this pretty much in the center, like as direct as I could at least. And yeah, did the two other marks beside that. So those will essentially be our two marking pieces, or marking holes on where we're going to drill, so it should hold up nicely. And yeah, so what I'm going to do now is drill 2 holes in each one of those slots, and I might do one in the middle. Should be good with 2, but I'm just going to go ahead and drill the 2 holes, and then we'll go to the next step. So this has just become a lot harder is that metal is pretty tough. It's not, I mean, it's like making a dent, but not much. So I've got 3 drill batteries. We're just gonna keep trying, I guess. All right, so I don't think we're gonna get through this metal. I tried for quite a while and it's just not getting through, but I think I came up with a solution. So, sorry, this is probably pretty awkward to look at, but this is the heat shield. I fashioned this little bracket thing, and I think we can make them so that they're low enough to actually catch the plastic, and we can drill into that and call it good. So I just need to make more of these guys, which shouldn't be a huge deal. I think I'm actually going to revise this one a little bit, so I'm going to take this one out and then kind of show you what I'm doing up there. Alright, so as you can see, I've had one of these L pieces and I turned it into this. Basically, I need to make it almost like this. If they were that long, that'd actually be good right there. So I need to find like some bolts or something to put in through here. So, sorry if this is not in focus. So if I can put a bolt right through here, we'll have a long enough bracket to hold just that front part. Their back will be fine, it's just the front part. Alright, so here's what we ended up with. It's not bad. It should hold together just fine, and no one's gonna see it, so that's what's important. But yeah, it's pretty stable. Shouldn't have any issues with it, so I'm gonna make one more and then we'll continue on. Alright, so I actually revised it just a little bit. I used one of those extra bolts that I had bought with a lock nut on it, so that should be secure. I also staggered it, or made it a Z instead of a N. Or U, that way we can drill in and we won't have to get caught onto each other. But yeah, this is a much better design. Doesn't look as pretty, but could be worse, I guess. So now I'm gonna make the second one. All right, and now that both are done, you can see they're both just little bracket things that I made. And yeah, so this is kind of a good point to say, like, you know, this is all totally custom. If you decide to order this thing, this RX7 Diffuser, it is up to you to figure it out. Because I kind of thought I had a plan and it's all gone to hell now. So we're on our own, and now comes the scary part of like drilling, making sure everything is where it needs to be as far as measurements go. And yeah, so I think next steps are to put these up into the heat shield, measure their distance, drill holes for that where I want them, and go from there. This has become quite the process, but I've kind of got it just propped up right now with a hammer. I think I've got the brackets where they need to be. I'm just gonna see if I can show you. No, it's gonna be really tough to see. No. Anyways, the brackets are like right back here. Now comes the hard part of figuring out how I can measure them. But we'll get something figured out. I think what I'll do is I'll measure from like the screws on the, or the bolts on the diffuser to where the little brackets are, and then bolt them in that way. So far so good. We're just gonna keep on going. So we've got our markings on our diffuser. Now, I think what I'm gonna have to do is, I think this is gonna be too big of a drill bit. I think I'm going to use kind of a bigger drill bit because I'm gonna be using these self-tapping screws to get it actually into the little brackets I made. So If I make something a little bit bigger, have a little bit of wiggle room, and it won't be as noticeable. So I'm going to use this drill bit to drill holes in our markers, and then really hoping that this works. Stay tuned and cross your fingers. Alright, so there's our holes. There and one there. Right there. So let's try to get this mounted. Kind of being held up by its own weight, and pretty happy with the way it looks right now. It's gonna take some tweaking for sure, but we're getting there. So it's like, it's a little flimsy, but I was kind of expecting that. I really wish we could have done it the way I had planned, but it is what it is. So next we need to do the rear part, which is all just gonna be like self-tapping, and I'm sure it'll come out fine, but I'm gonna get underneath. It's gonna be hard to see, so I'm just gonna do it and get it done, and then I'll update you on what it looks like after. So be right back.
2 hours later.
All right, so that's it. It's on. It took forever. This was a really frustrating project. I want to make that very clear. So after I had gotten everything mounted with all these screws and stuff, it just wasn't sitting right, and I wasn't happy with the way it looked. Now it's sitting pretty flush. I had to drill 2 sort of big holes right back there, so those little dents would kind of sit a little bit more flush. But we can always fix that later if I get sick of it. We ended up going with those little U brackets that I made. I had to make them a little shorter. We used a longer self-tapping screw that went through the brackets into the heat shield as well. So it's on there like pretty securely. It's not really coming off. The sides wiggle a little bit. I'm trying to think of how I might be able to do that. I might go back and get some more little brackets and basically do brackets on this side too. The rear, it's gonna be hard to see, but the rear is up there. They have their own little brackets as well. So that's it. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. It's a subtle little kind of mod that makes it look a little bit more track worthy, like the car that it's supposed to be, even though I don't track the car. I like it. If I get tired of it, I'll take it off. Let me know your thoughts. I know that it's a little more like function looking than form, but I kind of like that. I like the way that it looks. The muffler tip fits in there nicely. It shouldn't touch or anything. I do want to get some little like winglets to go on the side underneath the bumper near the rear tire, but that's for a later date. Anyways, yeah, I've stopped. I thought about just giving up and doing this tomorrow, but I had to go take a shower, kind of catch my mind back up, and I thought of, maybe we'll go try this. And I wanted to do it before I forgot. So anyways, the diffuser's on. Sorry I'm so sweaty. I promise the cool weather is coming and we'll be able to get out and do a lot more. I got word from Goodwin Racing today that my hood vents are on the way, so those are coming. Still working on the tuning video. I just want that video to be perfect, so stay tuned for that. It's coming, I promise. And yeah, so next up on Aero is some possibly new side splitters. The hood vents that are coming should be here next week, and possibly a front splitter as well. But for right now, rear diffuser on. I'm super happy with that. So thanks for sticking with. I know this video was kind of all over the place. I thought it would take a lot quicker. I thought it would take a lot less time than it actually did, but unfortunately, you never know. Sometimes your plan falls through and you gotta figure something else out, but in the end, I have come out victorious and we can move on to other mods. I'm super happy by that. So anyways, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button below. I'd really appreciate it. We're coming up on 700 really fast. Well, we can get there quicker, so hit that subscribe button below if you're watching this video right now. I do more DIY stuff, Miata specific, and other cars like meats and things like that. So if you haven't watched any of my other videos, click on one of the cards at the end and subscribe. Leave your comments, leave your likes, and I'll see you in the next one.